afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host, and in studio with me, Q Money Magic Man. What's up, Q?
Oh, it is a beautiful day with blue skies.
It is beautiful, and it is beautifully cold. Good night, and it's going to be cold again tonight, I think. Yes, I know. Actually, next couple of days here if you're in Acadiana. So if it's cool down here, Lord knows some of these places that are viewing us. We appreciate you. Stay warm. Hey guys, we are certainly broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Check us out at Rumble. Man, I like that chat. I like to see it early like that. Shout out to all you guys. Big Tib, you're the first one, but man, we got a good little chat going on. Rumble.com, look up the Josh Guillory Show. And you can check us out on the YouTube channels and all the things. You can go to my X channel at Josh Guillory USA. Let's dive right into it. Man, more coming out of, should I say, Minneapolis today. So top Border Patrol official Greg Bovino is expected to leave Minneapolis today, along with some of the agents who were part of the Trump administration's immigration surge. That's according to multiple outlets, including CNN. Now, Tom Homan remains on the ground. He's running point. So enforcement continues. The operation does not stop, despite what may be reported out there. What changes is who's in front of the cameras. No, really. Is it, if you're on Rumble, is it this guy? Oh, we don't have it. Yeah. So is it this guy? Wherever that is, weatherman. Yeah, there you go. Is it him or is it Holman? Is it who? Who is it? Because the distinction does really mean something here, you know? So let's reset the table. Let's get Hillary Clinton's reset button out. Come on. Just for a second, because there's been a lot of noise layered on top of this story that I just feel the need to go over. Now, the flashpoint here, we all know, is the death of Alex Preddy. Preddy was a 37-year-old ICU nurse who worked at a VA hospital in Minneapolis. He was killed during the federal immigration enforcement operation after a confrontation with Border Patrol agents. That was near a donut shop, as I recall. Federal officials say he approached agents while armed. Video and eyewitnesses' accounts are still being reviewed. This is the process. That review is exactly why this incident has gone national and why every word spoken by any federal official has been scrutinized frame by frame. Public officials come with duties and obligations, whether they like it or not. So they're different than maybe an appointed head of ICE or head of some other operation. So let's zoom out. Greg Bovino wasn't a random spokesperson. I would say that. I mean, it was definitely clear intent, clearly. And look at his history. I mean, this was the point. And for a while there, perhaps his approach was needed. Maybe not. Maybe we learned from it. Something had to be done. Easy is it to be Monday morning quarterbacks for us to be. But a review should be had. In the military, we'd call it after-action review, AAR. Nothing wrong with it. What'd we do good? Well, let's keep doing that, even if it was by accident. What'd we do bad? Don't do that again. Got it. Stove hot. Roger. And what could we have improved on? There you go. So, yeah, of course, after this, look what we're dealing with. It is pure chaos in Minneapolis. There is not a guide in the White House that could say, here you go. This is how you deal with a state and a city that has utterly failed its citizenry in the basic governing principles, governing duties, that go along with the gig. They have failed to protect their citizens, not just in illegal immigration, but other crime as well. We don't need to rehash the National Guard. And that incident, I think, is an argument, was uniquely different. But regardless, it's easy right now in the, real life, real time. Everything's real, in your face, live, audio, and visual right there. So it's easy. It's easy. But we can't get we can't go through the process that fast, unfortunately. So here we go. So not a random spokesperson. That's my point. And he became the face of the Minnesota operation. And in a moment like this, being the face is very important. It matters more right now and I'll explain myself. Matters more than being right. Being the face and what comes with that right now in that moment, in this moment, it really does mean more than being right or being loud or even aggressive, because we've seen that too. Talking about the echelon, the leadership echelon, mainly one person. CNN reports the White House grew a little frustrated over the weekend with how the administration was looking on television. Trump reportedly had spent hours watching coverage, not because the enforcement was wrong, but really because messaging discipline, once again, matters. And it matters when the country is watching. And the country is watching every single step here. So according to the reporting, Bovino made strong public claims about Pretty's intent towards the agents. And that was pretty quick. Some of those claims, as far as the reporting is saying, weren't backed up by the video that's circulating. And the video that is circulated, I'm just saying what I've seen, I can see some issues. I can see some gaps. And that is very, very, very important, because not political here. But there is a gap. And I would say there's a gap, not politically, practically. When facts are still being sorted, think about it. Overstatement becomes ammunition for your opponents, if we want to go political. But if we want to stay in policy land, that matters too. So, you don't want to give ammunition not to your political opponents, but you don't want to give the instability to the community. And that will grow. All right, so look, when we get back, we're going to finish up this story and so much more. We're going to open up those phone lines in the bottom half of the hour. I want to see you over there. Join that Rumble chat. It's getting hot and heavy. Kill Switch, That's Real Shy. I see all you guys. Titero, Big Tib. All right, let me see you. I think I got everybody, but I appreciate you guys. We'll be right back. What up, my Rumble folks? All my YouTube people, all my folks, man. What's happening? We were just visiting on the TikTok. We were in a little commercial break. Let me unplug. There we go. Don't want to get that feedback. So this is very, very telling. And by the way, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this guy's right. This name right. If you notice, I've tried different pronunciations. Do you go with Bovino?
It has to be
Bovino.
So to me, it's the only thing that makes sense.
I was like Bovino. I was like Boniva.
And in prep earlier, I got here a little early. I was listening to Eric Erickson, who said the name multiple times.
It's Bovino.
Yeah,
it has to be Bovino. Bovino. I'm going with Bovino, guys. Let's see here. Killswitch says, I noticed the most radical protesters are white Americans, insane in the membrane. I don't know. Big Tib says, the protesters must have nothing else to do. I know I wouldn't have time to protest. I have to work to support myself and my family. That's real, Chef says. Or, oh. Well, we're actually, we're not on. We could have said it. But we'll maintain our family. PG-13. PG. PG-10.
When I was like 12, I realized that the only difference between rated R and PG-13 is the total number of F words allowed in the movie.
Is it? No, that can't be it.
I haven't looked into it beyond when I was 10, but I noticed PG-13, they could have one. Rated R, it was open.
Oh, my gosh. The movies. Why are they playing the second hour, which I don't mind, by the way. Make sure that's the second hour, not the first hour. Anyway.
That's the first.
Oh, it's a rebroadcast. What am I thinking? Gosh. Anyway, guys, we got so many things going on. Appreciate y'all's patience. We're still in a live break. Hey, speaking of movies, man, I thought I was so cool in the what?
Big door. Sorry.
Oh, I thought, man, my dad had a friend that owned the Dollar movie theater in Alexandria, and he would let us go in and watch the free $1 movie. And I thought I was on cloud nine. I know we're running out of time. Doggone, I was going to tell you a way better story than that. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Tick. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. This segment brought to you by my friends over there at Stan's Auto. Man, go check them out. Stan's Auto off of John Street, right by Reds, right off of Doucet by the Grand Theater. Appreciate you guys. By the way, I'll be seeing y'all next week. They even do oil changes. There you go. So let's go back on what we're talking about. Bovino over here, the head guy on was the face of the ICE operations, the illegal immigration enforcement operations over there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And that has changed, and that had to be reasonably expected because Governor Walz and President Trump seem to have had a productive conversation. I'm saying it with a straight face. He's laughing over there. It's hard. But they had a good conversation, and what's happening is what they said was going to happen. Trump said he's going to send in Bovino. No, he's going to get Bovino. He's going to send Holman out. I didn't know. He didn't say Bovino was coming out, but, as this thing kind of festered a little bit, and we talked about the main reason is public perception, but in this situation, public perception is important. It is important. And in some of these circumstances, sometimes perception, because of the danger that can come from it or the good that can come from it, wherever that's weighing, means more than being right or being loud or being aggressive or taking shots at congressmen. We'll talk about it. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that one out there. So that gap, we talked about earlier. There is a gap there. But CNN, I thought, did a decent job walking through Bovino's history. He's been part of aggressive federal deployments in L.A., in Chicago, in Charlotte, New Orleans. We'll bring it home to where we're broadcasting. Now in Chicago, just saying. Chicago, a federal judge said video evidence contradicted his account of an incident and noted that he did admit that he lied. Okay. That history doesn't disappear. And when we're talking about everything having to be I'm talking crystal clear, Us conservatives, we don't get the benefit of the doubt. You got to be like airtight on who's giving the message and what they're saying. It's tough, and it's tough. That is, believe me, it's tough. But as we're starting to see here, the history is starting to replay. Not necessarily repeating, but replaying. When you have on the record an admission of a lie, and under this scrutiny, I mean, come on. I mean, when you're already controversial, just think about this. Every appearance pours fuel on a fire. Whether most Americans think that's so silly, how could that happen? Well, it can. So here's what actually happens next, okay? So Bavino steps out of Minneapolis. Some agents rotate out. Some of them are staying. Tom Holman becomes the clear point person for now. Caroline Leavitt makes that explicit, by the way. If you go, some of her press, I'll tell you what, that some of them should be their own show. It is, she is on point. I tell you what, I always said, man, I wouldn't want to be married to a lawyer and have to debate him. Poor Jamie, But man, I don't think I'd ever win an argument with her. She comes with a binder, and actually, no, I'm sorry. Most of the time, she comes like off her head, like right, and it's bam, 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 facts. So very impressive. We're friends. Peace. I come in peace, Miss Caroline. Jeez. But anywho, she made it pretty plain Jane. Tom Holman is the point person. The White House, okay, we're talking about what's happening next. So we could probably see the White House probably starting tightening the chain of command and really start tightening the message, which is needed. But I say all of that to also say none of this is a retreat. A lot of outlets are reporting a retreat. First of all, how is it a retreat? Who are you retreating from, first of all? It would be from people here illegally. All right, so whose team are you on? Number one. Number two, don't be confused with reorganizing. I mean, this is still a federal mission, enforcing a federal law. This is not a concession. I mean, we don't negotiate with terrorists. I mean, come on. What I'm seeing is management, but I'm not seeing retreat. I don't think Trump does not, all right, let's just say, Trump does not, he doesn't abandon enforcement because the press gets loud. If anything, he digs in. But it's interesting. He'll dig in, but yet be very flexible. Maybe digging in is not, maybe it's not the right word. Anyway, let's go to the phone lines real quick. I want to make an exception here. My boy Kish, bring some wisdom, my man. What you got, Keith Kishbaugh?
Okay, so first of all, you fired me up earlier, and I tried to call in, but I didn't. I broke the cardinal rule. I didn't realize it was time to call in.
Well, I got itchy when I saw you again.
Did the sponsors get a little bit more time to express themselves?
Oh, go for it. You need quality, not quantity. Go for it.
So we both have all these military backgrounds, and of course you were Army, but I still respect your service. Both elected officials. Now you trumped me on the official side of things, being elected, because you spent 10 times more, 1,000 times more money, and you were much more in a tough position than I am.
Oh, it's all relative.
But listen, it is relative to the truth. Look, I have to say this. That kid shouldn't have been shot. It's terrible. Unarmed, no threat, 6 big guys on him. Now, with that said, he shouldn't have been there, and he definitely shouldn't have been there with a weapon. There's actually a statute in Minnesota where you cannot be in a protest and be carrying a weapon.
Oh, okay.
But with that said, this has all been promoted and perpetrated by the mayor, the governor, and there's a difference between my son, who's a doctor, and I go back and forth on this. there's a whole difference between being protesting and being an agitator. These guys are on the front lines being agitated, having rocks thrown at them, snowballs thrown at them. Their hotels being accosted. I mean, it's a different environment.
Constantly.
You know, and some of these guys, look, probably 30% of our police force isn't trained properly. You know, you can go across the board through the entire country. I guarantee you 30% of those feds are not.
Oh, hey, Kish, we're hitting a hard break. Doggone, he was on a roll, too. All right, so we had to hit a hard break. When we come back, guys, I could say so many things on what Kish was saying. That was good. Thank you, my boy, Keith Kishba. Appreciate you guys. And also thank you for your support for the conservative cause. We certainly appreciate that. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios. This segment brought to you by my boy over there, Keith Kishbaugh. You just heard him over there, man. Great American, great patriot. Kishbaugh Construction. I'm telling you guys, I know firsthand. I know about quality work. This guy's, I've seen so much of it firsthand. I've hired him. He's always done what he said he's going to do, so I appreciate that. You know, hey, that's a quality. But Go check them out, Kishbal Construction, and we certainly appreciate all you do for the community and the cause. All right, so we are talking about this whole situation in Minneapolis, okay, and how some of it's being portrayed since the head guy's out. At least not in the Bovino. At least he's not in the face at all. Trump did what he said he was going to do. Holman's gone in. He's the clear point. You got questions, media, you go to that guy. You go to President Obama's rank and file employee of the year. Yeah, there you go. That picture, I thought it was fake, but it's real. But anywho, and Caroline Levitt made it crystal clear if you had any doubts. And at least that's for today, January 27th. The story's still developing. We may have a new face tomorrow. Nah, I doubt it. All right, and Holman, look, man, he's no wuss. I mean, he's been around, and he talks to the media all the time, and he's been consistent. But he's usually pretty disciplined too. Even though you would think some of his mannerisms, some of his Walls mannerisms, you would think he would slip up. But no, man, he's pretty sharp, pretty solid, and pretty consistent.
My favorite is when someone asks a question and he just answers with the statue. And I don't know how he's managed to memorize all of them, but he has.
It's the file, like, burp, burp, burp. There you go. All right. This statute, title, section, boop. There you go. All right. So, but some of the story here is that Trump is abandoning the mission. No, he's not. It's a change in scenery for sure. But when has this guy ever changed course because things got hot and heavy or loud? I mean, there's some things that he'll do, but that's one that's well, can we work on how we talk to journalists? Yes. Do we back down when it gets hot and heavy? No. These are just things you know about the guy. He's the uncle. But he's the uncle that gets stuff done. He's the guy. He's the guy. Whatever that means, but you know. But look, man, he removes distractions a lot of times, but he'll remove the distractions that interfere with the operation, and I think that's what we're seeing. But the mission stays. The posture gets sharper, if anything else. You know, the talking may stop, which is good. The work continues. Maybe no talking. Maybe just doing, or a lot less. And I think that's why they send Holman in, because he's at least a unified voice, because the voice matters here. The president has a lot to do. And these are the guys carrying out his initiative. So these guys need to be very careful with what they say, because just like President Trump doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not saying that he deserves it. I just say when the other party has the platform, please scrutinize them too. Or if it's a rhino, scrutinize them too. Don't not just love fest. I think that's what the folks are saying. But I forgot to announce we have the phone lines open, 232-1542, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. If you're outside the Acadiana area, you just give us a dial like my two friends over here. Oh, and more. There you go. All right, who we going to? Sean. What's up, Sean? Bring the heat, baby.
Well, of course, the media, if you give them an inch, if we back out right now, they're going to say, taco, Trump. Trump always chickens out, So that's how they're going to spend it. There's no win on this. And let me tell you, I think I'm severely dehydrated because I'm having a hard time shedding a tear for the two lives that were lost over there. Do you think anybody in the refugee community or the immigrant community is sending flowers and wreaths to the funerals of these people? No, they're cannon fodder for the left. And if they see a win right now, we're going backwards. They're going to just keep doing this. The next place we show up is going to be even worse.
Hey, well, thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. Well, I do feel compelled to say we do pray for the souls of those guys and all the souls of every life that has been lost. No sinner is more of a sinner or less of a sinner than the other sinner. We're all sinners. But, no, not but, and And there is some truth to what he's saying about, sadly, these lives are just collateral damage to the left. And that is true. That is some truth. This whole situation was the response was orchestrated, okay? They just needed the vehicle. They just needed the vehicle to get it. But the response, the talking points, everything, the signs, the placement of the signs, the encrypted text messages through Signal, all of the things, that part, very much planned. All right, let's go to Renee. Renee, what you got today, my man? You even got your own lower third. You know, if you're on Rumble, you can see your name right now.
Yeah, I want to have a sermon for the hypocrite, woke, care bear communists, the neo-Bolsheviks. If you live by the Kool-Aid, you die by the Kool-Aid. Nobody learned lessons of history from Russia to China to Vietnam and many others. It's just the same thing happening again, and it's not going to work in America, unlike that Kamala Harris said. It didn't work nowhere. It's still not going to work in America.
Hey, I'm with you. Bill Maher's with you. We didn't get to cover that the other day, but Bill Maher, he very much a Democrat.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hey, I know they say we got to turn the heat down, but we always turning down the heat. I don't think people going to feel that way when, if anything, they ever win and we in a concentration camp fist fighting over the last flea.
Oh, got disconnected. Thanks, Renee. I appreciate you. I know. I get it. I feel you. I feel all the things you feel. I do. I may feel even more passion than you. You don't know. I don't know. But I got to tell you, that ain't the answer. I mean, you have to tone down the violence. There's no other way. So, and even though we absolutely do not appreciate or like what these folks that have an absence of truth in their brain, while that frustrates us and hurts us even as a country and as a community, we must remember vengeance is not ours. Vengeance isn't ours. I didn't make that up. I've tried it. I have tried it. I've tried the vengeance thing. I'm telling you, it never works because it don't belong to me. It may feel good for a little bit, but it doesn't belong to me. And it doesn't belong to you. So we got to use something else. And we know violence isn't the way. I'm just saying. Ideas still work. And if they don't work, then we've lost our country. And then, thank God I know how to shoot a rifle. And I got plenty of ammo. So, I'm just saying. But I still believe in this country. And I still believe in my fellow countrymen. And I still believe in ideas. And I still believe we're going through a purging. So we got about 10 more years of this nonsense where the kids are running the show. But there are good things coming out of this administration, just maybe not delivered in a way, communicated in a way that some folks would like, but there are definitely good things going on. And there are definitely things that we have to realize, like this president will not get the benefit of the doubt. You already knew that. We already know that. He knows that. But his people need to know that because Bovino, you know who I'm talking about, the leader over there that was on the ground. While I appreciate your dedication to duty, okay, you have a duty to the administration when you speak on behalf of the administration. And no way have I seen from the president, from Caroline Leavitt, who speaks for the president, or anybody else that says go in there and act like a pompous you-know-what and act arrogant. And just because you can doesn't mean you should, okay? I could see that from a mile away. So you ended up, while there may have been good. And by the way, if you take that attitude, what do you think that street cop who is absolutely exhausted, who is mentally like at his or her wits end, tired, probably hungry, maybe not hungry, but tired, exhausted, doesn't want to be there. How easy is it for that person to go off the edge? You got to bring calm. You can't bring that. So, of all people, Tom Hallman's coming in to bring the calm, and he's going to do it. I do. Look, when he was first appointed, I always appreciated his service. I was questioning how if he could his communication with the public. And so far, I am pleasantly surprised. Very happy on his tone awareness. I mean, like, really. He was the guy that's supposed to be the whole. It's kind of like when Trump appointed his first Secretary of Defense, Mad Dog. You would think that guy was bringing us into World War III, and that dude he was strong, and he brought a strong defense. But he was very calm. It just goes to show you, anybody that's been to war will do everything they can to avoid it. And it's quite easy. Not everybody. I'm sure there's exceptions. But it's quite easy for those who have not been to send those to do things that you don't know anything about, and that's okay. It's not required. Look at that. It's not required. The commander-in-chief, by design, is a civilian position. But just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying. But Trump does not abandon the ship, I'll tell you that. Let's go to these fine, patient folks here. Let's go to Mr. Bobby. What's up, Mr. Bobby?
Yeah, I think I know who said vengeance is mine.
You do.
Eventually, this guy up there will get enough of it, and the sword will swing. It always does. But, that governor there, what's his name, Tire Burner?
Just that'll work, tire burner.
Yeah, well, you know what?
More so a tire smeller. More so of a smeller.
Yeah.
Tire
smeller. Yeah, he could get an asphalt burning. He could get up there and say, everybody go home, and that'd be the end of it.
Exactly. Tone and messaging is not just for the president, it's for the governor too. And I'm so glad you said that, Mr. Bobby. I appreciate that because he really could command quite the audience here and could at least tell the sane ones there that are getting hijacked, because there are sane people protesting right now that think they're protesting something that doesn't exist. At least one of their own walls can go out there and say, this is the truth, this is not the truth. Now, the crazies, you guys come to the top of the boil and y'all get over here. Now, all the sane people, this is the truth. Do with it what you want, All right, let's go to Eddie, who has been waiting so patiently. Eddie, what's up, my man? Huh?
Clicked the wrong one.
Oh, he clicked the wrong one. Caller, you're live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Sorry, Eddie.
Is this me?
Yes, sir. What you got?
Okay, hey, this is Randall from Jennings.
Oh,
very quickly, Josh.
Yeah.
I got to correct you on something.
Go for it.
Carolyn Levin had a binder full of notes? No, that was her predecessor.
That's right.
That lady who walked off the set of Saved by the Bell. KGP, whatever her name is. She couldn't speak 5 words without glancing down.
Yeah.
Carolyn Levin can go on for 5 minutes without going down. So just a little minor thing.
Very well said. Very well said. And absolute, she don't need those notes. You're right. Straight like, pow, rapid fire. Very impressive. Like, I would not want to be in a heated debate. Like I said, we're friends. Caroline. All right, guys, we're going to take a tiny little break here. Eddie, I'm so sorry. We will come to you first if you're patient enough to hang tight. And this is a small break, so that's good. All right, guys, stick around. Things. Hey, what's up, Rumble? Rumble.com, YouTube, all the things. Look, we could be doing some Rumble stuff. You see that? I was telling you, put up the graphic earlier. but it's my fault because I did this. And as soon as I did this, I said I got to stop but I'm glad you did that too. Sorry, just behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, so Kill Switch. I'm gonna go to the second to last one. He says, yes, yes, Mr. Bobby, let the sword swing. I thought you said something else. I don't have my glasses. I was gonna go somewhere else, but okay. No, hey, look, yeah, man, you're right though, Kill Switch. It's the swinger of the sword would not be one you'd want to mess with. Let's just say that. And then he goes into Caroline Levitt is unstoppable, unstumpable. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Guys, she's impressive.
It's like when she was born, her parents just instantly put her in rhetoric classes. And that's what she did her entire life up until this role.
In what classes?
Rhetoric.
Yeah. And what's interesting about her is it's not like compartmentalized, like a filing cabinet, almost like when Chris Christie, when he called out Vivek.
Oh yeah.
For being Chat GPT. Yes. I didn't even know. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even know what Chat GPT was at the time, and maybe I'm behind.
That was before Chat GPT.
But he said it.
Yeah.
He's like Mr. Chat or Chat GPT over here.
Or no, I'm thinking of what he told Marco that time, where Marco was just repeating the same talking points.
Oh God.
And he just quoted his talking point. He was like, "See, I bet he's gonna say it again in response." And
he did. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, "Oh, you just lost."
Yeah, that's real shy. When am I going back to the CM Punk look? I got many shades, baby. I don't know. Oh, I got it right. Hey, this is good. Okay, good. Shorter breaks. I like that. All right, guys, stick around, man. We'll be right back. We got about just over 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We are also broadcasting live from rumble.com. Let me see you over there at rumble.com. Let me tell you about my friends at C-Safe, SEA, just like the ocean. When strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, C-Safe delivers. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist the corrosion, reduce maintenance, outlast the competition in the harshest environments, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between. Their products are American-made over there at C-Safe. They're manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. C-Safe. Check them out. csafe.com. SEA, just like the ocean. Now, I want to hear the ocean full of knowledge coming from my dear friend here who's been so patient. Eddie, what you got, Eddie?
Hey, all the people that's calling everybody, excuse me, Nazis and all that, they need to go look back in their history. The only ones that were doing the same things as them white women liberals are doing now was the Nazis. How they treated the Jews, how they marked their stores, broke their windows, stole stuff from them, put them in concentration camps. I don't think it's us. I think it's them. They don't know their history. When they talk about Nazi, they don't know nothing. They just throwing words out. Tim Walsh, whatever get put in a concentration camp, he knew what the Jews went through. So they are doing the same thing that the Nazis did to the Jews, because the mayors, presidents, or whatever you want to call it back in the day, told them to go do the same thing to the Jews. And that's all I got to say.
Well, thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you. Always appreciate the call. So, all right, let's see here. Norm from Poche Bridge. What's up, Norm?
Listen, I'm ever curious. Norm is thinking about stuff.
Yes.
Norm thinks a little bit further back than what's going on today. Goes back to the day when Karl Marx and some of these other jealous intellectuals wanted to seize power from somebody. They wrote it down. It's on print. It's any conspiracy theory for me. Power by any means necessary. So what are we having today? Power by any means necessary. By the way, all of this going on, somebody could look into it. This is a communist operation here going on here. You get these other people in. Maybe they're being paid. Maybe they're just volunteers. But what's going on here is an operation. You can go back to Czechoslovakia in 1957, exactly what's going on. So that's all I got for today.
Well, thank you, Norm, very much. Is a paid volunteer still a volunteer? That's what I'm saying. There are probably sane people protesting right now. They're just being lied to. So that's why one of the callers earlier was spot on. Governor Walz could easily cool the temperature. It's already cold, but he easily could cool the temperature. The climate. You could lower the climate temperature. Just go out there and say, this is the truth, and then you'll see. Here's the now crazies. You get over there. All the sane ones that are still Democrats, still liberals, still all the things. You guys, now you know the truth. But you'll see. Hey, it's a thought. Can't hurt, may help. Thank you, Coach Dick Vermeil. All right. Hey, Big Tib, though, man, he says, yeah, Robert Benoit, if you're paid, you ain't a volunteer. Exactly. No, they're paid volunteers. They weren't volunteered like in the military. They were paid volunteers. Big Tib says, though, law enforcement is trained to de-escalate a situation. Let's see here. But it looks like ICE is doing the exact opposite. Now, Big Tib, let's talk about that. It's hard to argue, like, what, just hear what I'm saying now. If you look at perception and you look at what is being broadcast, you can definitely see a lot of examples of what Big Tib's saying here on the Rumble chat. A lot of examples. That's why perception is so important here and now. You know, bringing in Tom Homan was probably a really good call. Getting that guy that was Bovino, you know, thank you for your service. Appreciate it. Needed to be what you needed to be when you needed to be it. Got it. You know, so yeah, they had to make a command decision, but this is definitely not the administration abandoning ICE operations. Does anybody ever think like there will be so many operations that would cease under this administration before ICE operations ceased? So new name, same common name, which is great. What a good move. What a good move to bring Holman in. Unify that message. Everything's across the board. You know, you don't have to worry about conflicting personalities. Holman has a pretty good established rapport. Whatever that is, good, bad, or ugly with certain folks, he does understand it. And that in circumstances right here where there's a battle of public perception, this could mean a lot. But let's go to phone lines here. Let's see here. Caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is it me?
Yes, sir.
The one thing I've noticed on the news, I've been seeing all these things where ICE is having battles with bystanders, but I haven't heard anything about any of the illegal aliens who are being picked up, being shot, killed, beaten, anything like that. What are the illegal aliens doing different than the protesters are doing?
What do you mean? Keep going. I was talking to Quinn.
I mean, ICE is going out arresting illegal aliens. And these illegal aliens are not fighting and getting themselves shot by the ICE agents.
Okay.
What did the protesters need to learn from the illegal aliens?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. So the illegal aliens are not resisting arrest. These guys just need not provoke an arrest. I get what you're saying. I see. I can connect the dots. How'd I do?
Okay. You have a good day.
You too. Great call. Look, and it's so many people are asking that same question. What a great call. And it's kind of hard to imagine. Like, most people don't go and provoke someone with the firearm, even though they have training and all the stuff. Like, what are you doing? They tell you don't feed the bears in the zoo. I mean, they're probably not going to eat you. They're probably not, even if you give them bread, even if you get, like, whatever it is. But there's a chance. And what are people going to say? Well, doggone, they told you not to feed the doggone bears. Remember, John? Don't feed the bears, John. Guys, we'll be right back. Oh, man, end of the hour number 1 so fast, Quentin. Doggone. All right, guys, stick around. Hour number 2 right around the corner, and I can't wait. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on rumble.com, youtube.com, all the things. You can go to my X page at Josh Guillory USA, and shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We have so much to say, so many things to talk about, so many topics to discuss. I don't think we can fit them all in this hour. We come every day with so many things, but it's okay. A lot of stuff happening. But let's stay in Minneapolis, shall we? All right, so Kyle Wagner. You may have heard his name. Kyle Wagner is a self-described Antifa activist in Minneapolis who went online after the death of Alex Preddy and called for armed men to get boots on the ground to confront federal immigration officer. Armed, confront federal agents. Not a metaphor, not rhetoric, just your normal call for violence. It's starting to become the MO on some of these folks. So Kyle Wagner, though, he wants you to think that he's on the run. He's just a little victim. That's the story he's telling now, at least. Phones wiped. I mean, let's just think about it. Accounts all deleted. Venmo gone. Dramatic videos about safe spaces and safe places and evacuation plans. He's pretending. No. He ain't pretending. He's presenting. And he's presenting himself like some underground resistance fighter hunted by the state. Let's be clear about who we're talking about. And now that people have maybe noticed who Kyle Wagner actually is, this little thug wannabe, now that platforms pulled content, now that law enforcement started to pay attention, suddenly he's a victim. He's being suddenly silenced. Suddenly he's on the run. That's what he's saying. He's on the run from the state, from the people, from the man, especially the orange man. But this pattern's familiar. We've seen it. These guys love chaos when they think it's cost-free. They love the adrenaline. They love the attention. They love the crowd. They love all this. But the second words have consequences. The second that the spotlight turns from cheering to spotlight on them for accountability, the bravado evaporates. You ever notice that? Wagner's original video, it was not subtle. You can see it, unless it's all been pulled. He explicitly urged armed men to show up. He told followers they needed to be ready to do, quote, what needs to be done. He framed federal officers as fascist occupiers. He told women to accept that their husbands might not come home. Where's the protest there? You see any protest in that?
It's a call for armed rebellion.
It is incitement wrapped in activist language. Political. And the bad politics. And a lot of things matter here. They really do. But we can highlight one little part. Wagner admits, I mean, I can't make this stuff up. He can't even legally possess a firearm. He made that clear. I'll give him that. So his message was never, I'll stand with you. His message was, you go stand in front of bullets. No leadership there, man. You are outsourcing at that point. outsourcing risk, and you're outsourcing the risk to people that are really trusting you, that are really putting their faith in you. This is not just a play here, okay? You know, while this dude plays revolutionary influencer behind some keyboard, behind some camera, that's the dynamic. And it's the same dynamic that we've seen over and over and over again. Yes, you saw what I did there. That's exactly what's happening here. So let's zoom out again. This is important. You know, we get right in there. Let's zoom out. And really, specifically, let's zoom out to context, okay? Alex Preddy, we covered this earlier, just to remind everybody, a 37-year-old ICU nurse who worked at a VA hospital. Alex was killed during a federal immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis. The facts are still under review. That's the proper posture for it to be in right now. The administration has said it's reviewing everything. Again, the process is important. And that is how serious civilizations handle serious incidents. You know what Wagner did? That was what he did, basically. Again, same story. You take a tragedy and you immediately weaponize it. That's what he did. That's what this dude did. Not to get answers, not to seek truth, because that would maybe benefit society. Not to even protect lives. Like, hey, you guys need to stop, charging these officers. Like, you need to stop, being aggressive towards them. Nothing good happens there. And no one's taking you serious. Well, but no one's taking this dude serious either. He uses this. He takes this tragedy, he weaponizes it, and he pours gasoline on an already volatile situation and point people towards armed confrontation with federal officers. Let's really, really, really connect the dots here. That puts everyone at risk. And think about it. When I say everyone, agents, protesters, bystanders, journalists, hotel staff, drones. I'm just saying. People just trying to get home. This is nothing screams reasonableness, discipline, or common decency from this young man's actions. Even Democrats who usually run cover for this kind of nonsense are starting to say out loud that Minneapolis has an influencer problem. And I highlight that because I welcome that for my Democrat friends, and all of us do. This is something where we really do need to tone it down. Former local GOP chair Sean Holster nailed it. I don't know if you saw his comments, but he said most of the tension disappears if you remove the wannabe revolutionaries chasing clicks and clout. And he's right. He is right. None of this is organic outrage. And we will talk about that when we get back from this break. Hey, I appreciate the Rumble chat. Go check out my friends over there at rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. We'll be right back. What up, my Rumble crew? All right, so look, in breaks, the volume may be down a little bit because I'm leaning back. I'm rolling down the street laid back. Y'all feel me? So me and Q were talking here just shortly Love to hear y'all's thoughts on this, and shout out to my TikTok crew. All of this outrage, none of this is like organic.
Not a bit of it.
Yeah. What have you seen out there?
I have seen everything from people comparing this to the Holocaust, which it's not.
Man.
The Holocaust involved the deaths of millions, murders of millions of people.
Wow.
This involves the capture of
it
people
just goes
present.
to show you the disconnect. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
It goes to these people are being captured for breaking the law. They're being sent back to their home countries, and in the meantime, they're getting 3 square a day and a warm bed. How do they connect? They don't. They don't. It is simply people are talking online, trying to drive rage. They want you angry. Because if you're angry, you become irrational. If you become irrational, you become moldable. And the fact is, they want you moldable because it's the only way you're going to believe what they're telling you. They have set up a network across this country for communications, logistics, getting activists to the scenes of Border Patrol activities, ICE activities, and they don't delineate between Border Patrol and ICE. It's 2 radically separate agencies with 2 separate missions.
What a great point. What a great point. I'm like Mr. Rogers today. I come in here with a little sweater, a little tie, and you bring in a very cool point. I say, what a good job, young man. Very good. Very, very, very studied answer there. No, it's true though. It is very much organized, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy to think about. And as far as the elites and everything you said about, in this case, the left, elites are bipartisan. They will manipulate my dear Republicans, all of us too. And we've all fallen prey for it. I mean, they get in our emotions. They pull on our really, really, really deeply held values. So I know you got to cut back. So we're about to go back in. Love the shorter breaks, Q. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Hey, this segment brought to you by my friends over there at Préjean's. I still say every day's gumbo weather. But today, yeah, I couldn't think of better gumbo weather.
That's for sure.
This weekend with the rain was probably, but I'm telling you, you can talk to me on the 4th of July. My last name's Guillory, and I grew up in Louisiana. I'm 100% Cajun. I promise you, don't judge me by this accent. All right, guys. So we're talking about just kind of some silliness again over there in Minneapolis. This time we're focusing on this little self-identified wannabe, an Antifa sympathizer, an Antifa activist out of Minneapolis. Kyle Wagner, that's his name. Kyle Wagner. And, I referenced right going out of the break a kind of a sentiment that was stated by the former local Republican chair there. I would imagine they're equivalent to a RPAC, Republican Parish Executive Committee, whatever it is over there. And his name's Sean Holster. But he was spot on when he said, most of the tension disappears if you remove the wannabe revolutionaries chasing clicks and clout. And that is exactly what you're saying. And it led us to the truth here, or our discussion on some truth. None of this outrage that we're seeing is organic. All of this they just needed someone to trip the wire. They had the signs. They had all of this. This is manufactured escalation. And it's driven by people who confuse activism with adrenaline and think accountability is somehow oppression. I don't know how you reach a point of reasonableness with that thinking and that thought process. And I just have to believe that most Americans, even on the left, aren't that far out there. I got friends that are confused and that identify as Democrats, but I like those guys better than rhinos. They at least tell me. But here's the deal. And Kyle Wagner, he wants to talk all tough, go confront armed folks while you're armed. He can't even possess a firearm legally. He admitted that. But now he's painting himself as the victim. Doesn't that sound familiar? Man, nobody's hunting Kyle Wagner for his beliefs. Nobody's arresting him for his opinions. When platforms pull videos calling for armed confrontation, I don't think anybody sees that as tyranny. I mean, it looks like basic responsibility. That is something that probably should be at least looked at. When law enforcement pays attention to someone telling people to bring guns to protests, none of that is fascism, Kyle. That's just them doing their job. And thank them. You should be thanking them. You know, the little tough guy act, it kind of collapses fast when it meets reality. That pesky little wall of reality. And sometimes in fairy tale land, it can be hard to hit that wall. And I understand. But when you really do look through the pink clouds and the rainbows and the little unicorns and the little fairies and the stars and the sprinkle and the trees that are floating, you might hit that wall if you venture off too far, Kyle. Someone should send him the podcast. I'm teaching. Because that's the lesson here, Kyle. This moment exposes something. And it goes back to what one of our callers last hour said. So right. We need to see, and I'm paraphrasing, but we need to see the difference between adults and agitators. Tim Walz could be helping with that. Governor Walz could be helping us see who are the adults, because there are genuinely kind people in that crowd that want to communicate a thought, and they want to do so in a rational way like most of us do. And they're being hijacked. So the governor could absolutely tone this down just by separating. And look, I'll compromise. I always believe you should bring a solution when you bring a problem. We can even have like a line, like I don't want to bring back segregation, but maybe like a rope, and like on this side, the sane Democrats that just want to communicate their thoughts, even with your signs and everything, y'all are over here. Now, the rest of you, the crazies, y'all just step to the left 5 times. Right there. Now, and you just kind of heard the you kind of heard the cats that way, you know? But what Minneapolis needs really does separate the agitators from the adults. Adults slow things down. Hey, look, you got chaos in the streets. Yes, you got to react quick. You got to react aggressive. You got to go in there like there ain't nobody's tomorrow, okay? But once that's not the situation, which Minneapolis is kind of crazy right now, but you got to have people that actually want to do law enforcement, not please a woke crowd. But anyway, that's what we should be doing, slowing things down. Look, Trump sent boots on ground, which is absolutely ridiculous that they had to do that. But it was a surge. Surges are meant to be strike, get in and out. But they're not going anywhere. It's just a different spokesperson. That's it. But the governor could really be helping us get the adults to come out, even on the left. Because adults gather facts. Gathering facts, slowing down. That's what our leaders need to be doing here, de-escalating. You know, adults accept that words have weight, and I learned that the hard way. I learned that out the hard way, but I learned. agitators, I mean, you know what they do. I mean, by now, light matches and then act. No, this is what's funny. They light the match, they pour the gasoline, and then they're shocked when the room fills with smoke. The irony is pretty tick, Sha. Wagner, well, he's Kyle. He's saying that he's staying in the fight. Don't worry, Kyle has not lost his vigor. He's in the fight to the bitter end, he says, unless it gets tough. Then I'm going to Canada. That's what I added that part. That was creative, whatever it is. But man, think about this. We got the irony. This dude's he's staying in till the bitter end. Got it. But he's already retreated. I mean, look at him. Accounts are gone. The fundraising links are vanished. Tone completely changed. The revolution apparently needs a GoFundMe and a hiding spot, basically. I mean, that's where it's come down to, Kyle. Minneapolis doesn't need any more hype men, Kyle. It would benefit from a governor and really a mayor. I mean, it really shouldn't even be the governor, but he could help. I think what Minneapolis needs is a stable government, or government officials that keep stability, keep the order, law enforcement doing its job, and not pandering to, man, ideology that really doesn't help the situation if you think about it. I mean, investigations done cleanly. That would be nice. I think these are some things, Kyle, that your city needs. I don't even know if it's your city. Protests that don't turn into hunting parties for federal agents would be cool. Because that's what this dude's doing. He's the one, not him and so many others are creating hunting grounds because what do you want the officer to do if you're approached a certain way in a split second? That's why getting rid of that or transferring over Bravado, Bovino. I'm so sorry because I do appreciate what that dude has done, but that needed to happen because there's another tactic. Because I'll tell you that attitude, what he had, worked when we needed it. Now it's time to calm the storms, and that's why that phone call with Trump and Walz just goes to show you again, man, that dude, Trump will talk to anybody. Like, he really, and I think his campaign, thanks to his son, his youngest son, Barron, getting him on all them podcasts, that dude talked to everybody, man. And you can't, that's why I love this show and I love other shows like this because you really can't fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Me butchering words and all. But what we're seeing over there from these little rogue little wannabes, none of that is resistance. All of it's reckless. It's reckless, all dressed up, all in their costume of virtue. They got their little virtue cloak on, And I think people are starting to see right through it. But hey, look, we're going to take a little break. When we get back, man, the phone lines are going to be wide open. I definitely, we got Fetterman. Fetterman's in the news. That's always something. He might be getting some street cred. I think our boy Fetterman, come on, man. You got to give Fetterman some grace on this one, what we're about to talk about. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. What up, my peeps? Rumble, YouTube, all the guys over there and gals, and to our TikTok audience. Hey, look, in the breaks, audio might be a little low because I lean back with my back hurting.
President Trump's giving a speech in Iowa. I wonder if he met with Joni to get that 2.1 trillion.
You want to remind the folks of Joni Ernst?
Oh, man. Do they need reminding?
Yeah, it's worth talking
Joni
about.
Ernst?
Guys, if y'all hadn't heard this on the show or anywhere else, listen to what Quentin's about to say.
This senator from Iowa found $2.1 trillion in cuts that could be made. Cuts that could be made through the reconciliation process. Cuts that could be made without needing 60 votes to cross the filibuster threshold. Found it during the middle of the Schumer shutdown back in December. And you want to take a guess as to what happened? Nothing. Nothing came of it. Talked about it a lot, but actually took no action. Words without action are just ideas. Until you take an action, they are going nowhere. Well, she took an action. She filed a bill to clarify egg labeling, and then later on she filed another one to study government waste, which is interesting because the study on government waste could be a component of the government waste. It's unfortunate that we never actually got to see this bill put up to 2.1 trillion in cuts. So I'm hoping while President Trump is in Iowa, they can get together, maybe talk about it. She's retiring, maybe she can have that one last hurrah if she's principled.
And what better time, Joni?
Exactly.
We all know what's happening. Joni's about to become a lobbyist. Don't say lobbyist. She don't want to upset the apple cart.
Hey.
Well, hey, if you bring in fiscal responsibility, then you have what is the point of that's the anti-lobbyist mechanism. You know what we need?
What's that?
We need a lobbyist. We the people need a lobbyist.
I agree.
We need a lobbyist in Congress. Can we pull together, maybe we're on to something here. Maybe some of us can pool together some funds and hire us a lawyer on fiscal responsibility or a lobbyist. Who could we hire? I wish we had time to finish that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. This segment brought to you by my boy over there, Keith Kishbaugh, over there, Kishbaugh Construction, man, great American company over here supporting good causes. We certainly appreciate you, my dear friend, and good to hear from you earlier in hour number one. Phone lines are open, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. Let's see here, who we going to first? Mr. Bobby. What's up, Mr. Bobby?
Hey, LT, I like the way they keep calling them aliens when they're criminals. They got their pictures out there, armed robbery, assault. One of them raped a 13-year-old girl. Now, let me ask you a question. These protesters want the criminals to stay in the city? That's why they protested?
Wait, say that last part again?
I said these protesters are protesting because they want these criminals to stay in their cities. If that was you and I, those are all felonies. We'd be in Angola.
Well said, and I will go a step further here. So they were criminals the moment they crossed the border illegally, and that's not a knock on anybody. That's just like there's a law. There's a law that says you can't do that, and if you break the law, then that's a crime. And if you commit a crime, you're a criminal.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The Constitution says laws are rules you have to go by. Copy out.
He's paraphrasing. All right. Good deal, Lucille. Who we going to? Buck. I think this is Buck. What's up, Buck?
Hey, guys.
Hey, brother.
Let's just face it. This group of agitators on the left, they just don't want anybody deported, and they're using this situation to try to energize a movement against deportation of people here illegally. there's a group in Lafayette that are starting to try to put a lot of pressure on the sheriff's department. And I would just urge your audience to call the department like I did and voice your support for the sheriff's department working with ICE, because if they can get them when they're arrested or in the jailhouse, then they won't be on the street arresting. You know, there's people that's been here that we might say, okay, we can work out something. You know, they've been in the community a long time. But like Holman said, if they have to go get the criminal illegal out in public and there's 4 or 5 people here illegally that are with them, then everybody's going. So make it easier on everybody. Let the sheriff do their work.
Exactly. Well said, Buck. Thank you very much. It's so true, though. So true. All right, let's go to Renee. Renee, what you got, baby?
Hey, there's like a religion. There's a head to all this madness. I mean, we need to, when some people are above and beyond the law, we need to Title 50 them. We did that for Noriega. We did that for Osama bin Laden. We did that for Maduro. Title 50. Roosevelt believed in Title 50. Kennedy and Eisenhower. That's what made America great. You know, you got a place for the Constitution and you got a place for Title 50. They're all different kind of tools in the tool set.
Hey, it's very interesting. We did a little quick search on Title 50. I didn't know. So what is it? What did it say? The war and something? Yeah. U.S. Code Title 50, War and National Defense. Now, I don't know the contents of that, but hey, good call, Renee. Got me learning something there. Always. That's why I love our callers, love our chatters, love our audience, love the vibe, love everything. So let's go to our friend. I like this guy, Senator John Fetterman. A lot of Republicans like him. All right. We're going to have to give our boy a pass here now. He needs to get some street cred. All right? Apparently, he does not want to switch parties, so he's staying a Democrat. And he's got to get some street cred. He can't be voting with the mean orange man all the time. He can't have reasonableness all the time. That would not be the National Democrat way. He's more conservative than some of these rhinos, I'll tell you that. All right, and more commonsensical, pragmatic. All right, so Senator John Fetterman. Don't combine those two words, John and Senator. So Senator John Fetterman, the Democrat from Pennsylvania, who brands himself as a centrist, is now calling on President Trump to fire DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Get it in, Johnny! After the fatal shooting of a second protester. We've been talking about it all show. Fetterman says Americans have died and claims Noem is betraying DHS's core mission and damaging Trump's border security legacy. He also warns Trump against repeating the Biden-era pattern of sticking with an embattled DHS secretary. How Senator Fetterman words this, I think there's a few people that get a pass, in my opinion, with saying something like that. With conviction, that you can kind of say, this dude's saying it with some conviction. I think John Fetterman's one of them. I think he's proven that he will say what he believes and say it in a nice way. He's not a flamethrower from what I'm seeing. Even this. Look what he's saying. I mean, he's like, don't do what Biden did. Like, that's about as nice as you can expect someone from the opposite party in Washington right now. Don't do what the guy I voted for. Like, you know, or at least he said he voted for him. I don't even know that. He might not have, so I don't want to say that. Don't let me put words in your mouth, Senator. But when he says this, he warns, when he says that Kristi Noem, right now, under these circumstances, is betraying the mission, but look at this part. Damaging Trump's border security legacy. All right? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I want to go that far. Because remember, right now it's a perception game. We're going to know all the facts as time goes on. Okay? I think it was a wonderful move, moving Bovino out when he was doing all his things in the other places, that's probably what was needed at the time. Very, get in, get out, do the things. But it started to kind of feel, and look, because the mission's not changing. It is literally the spokesperson. But up there, I mean, they were in a situation that it's like this guy was at least given the perception of an occupying force, like a military area of operation. That's the perception that allowed to be had. I don't think it's a military war zone. I'm not there. But I can easily see some of the material that could easily be used by people that could care less about ICE and America, quite frankly. They hate one person more than they love the country. Can't change that. But he's not politically naive here. That is actually probably it could turn out to be an accurate statement. But Trump is not, while Trump is loyal to a degree, that dude ain't afraid to fire people, to get rid of folks. If he felt like Kristi Noem was damaging the reputation, I think he would do something. I mean, the guy self-admitted that he spent hours on Sunday watching the news and had to combat the messaging. And he's right on that. That was important. And he's shown that he will act quickly. So there's some truth to that, possibly. But I think there's 100% genuineness, or at least mostly genuine. Because a part of me still thinks Fetterman's like, I don't know, I'll probably give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the alternative is what my party's offering, and that looks like just lunatics. But Fetterman has also called, like he's getting his street cred out there, man. Got his Mr. Blue Wave. He's getting his Blue Wave rep. Hey, I'm still a Democrat. I might run for president. I need you guys. So look, Fetterman has also called for the Minneapolis enforcement operation to stand down and end. He described the city as an ungovernable and dangerous environment for civilians and also law enforcement. Again, probably one of the nicest ways to say it. It's hard to be mad at this dude. I'm giving him a complete pass on this because his position on this doesn't change anything. And I mean, if we want to keep having a guy on the other side that can work with us, we got to let him air it out. Come on, Johnny, come on, John. Senator, say all your lefty stuff. Got it in, too. I mean, think about it. He went strong in a nice way. Nicest way I could ever hear it. But he said, fire Kristi Noem. Take her dogs with her. Now, this follows backlash, okay? This follows a little backlash. I do want to put it in context. Follows a little backlash over comments attributed to Noem after the Preddy shooting. He is bringing some backup as far as in his mind, So the Hill reports Democrats are angry about her labeling Preddy a domestic terrorist. Man, they ain't angry. They're so happy she did that so they can fundraise off of it and campaign off of it. They cite other Democrats calling for impeachment. Shocker. Or resignation, of course. We can do this the easy way. The White House, I just keep thinking of that dude with a cane in the State of the Union. Oh, my gosh. The White House and Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, very popular on today's show. Very popular in general in her own self-right. But the press secretary, Ms. Leavitt, she has publicly distanced the president from that specific label. She has not said that the president has called her a domestic terrorist, which, when has he minced his words on how he feels? This dude's, he's a lot more diplomatic than we give him credit for. Probably some truth in the middle there. But again, he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt, so he's got to be very careful here. He's got to be very cautious. But she said that she hasn't even heard Trump characterize Preddy that way. I don't know how much they're talking about it. Well, probably a lot right now. But they made a decision. They made some changes. They'll probably watch it for a little bit and go do bigger and better things. You you got your whole administration at your disposal. All right, guys, stick around, man. We will wrap a bow on this, or actually, we may just move on. Who knows? Let's see. Phone lines are open. Thank you for being patient there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Let me see you over there at rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. We are also very, very happy to be on KLFY Plus. Shout out to that viewing audience as well. Let me remind everybody about my friends over there at C-Safe. You know, man, C-Safe FRP products, they are engineered to resist corrosion. They reduce maintenance. They outlast the competition in some of the harshest environments. And think about that, offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants, everywhere in between. C-Safe. Their products are American-made. Their products are manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. C-Safe. Check them out. csafe.com. SEA, just like the ocean. All right, let's go to the phone lines. I certainly appreciate you. Let's see your caller. You are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, good evening.
It's great mixing academics and common sense together in your show.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. That's all the
now,
audience.
a thing with this guy Wagner that wants to cause start a revolution in America? This guy must be eating hot gumbo out of a paper plate.
Man, if you know, you know. I love it. That was that's all he had to say. Hey, you know what? That pretty much summed it up. We can even move on. I was going to wrap up the topic. You got it. You got it. He is eating hot gumbo from a paper plate. You better double, triple, quadruple up, boy. Let's see here. All right, President Trump also not mincing his words here. He says that Iran has called numerous times. They keep calling me. I only answered once. Yeah, the president says they've called him numerous times trying to talk to the United States. You know, as a massive U.S. naval presence, including the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, carrier strike group has entered Middle Eastern waters. That could be important. Let's unpack that. You know, and let's the caller's so kind and makes sense. Well, let's try to make sense both on the camera and the radio, because that could be hard on this type of topic here. Iran is cornered on multiple fronts right now. The regime has been dealing with widespread unrest at home. We've seen the protests. Pray for those fine folks of Iran. It looks like they are thirsting for freedom. It looks like it. They've protested. They've been brutally suppressed. I can't remember how many deaths, more than 500. Some people say over 1,000. It's crazy. And that internal pressure changes the calculus over there in Tehran. At the same time, the U.S., well, we've sent up quite the huge military buildup. And it's been towards that region, including the aircraft carrier and the strike group. That's a big deal. Trump called it a big armada next to Iran. Bigger than what the U.S. used around Venezuela. They've sent some heat there, but this is supposedly bigger. I'm an Army guy. I couldn't tell you. I need John Gilbo to call in. He's a Navy guy. Now, I do think it's important because before, I don't know if we could stop the media spinning this, but some of these guys are going to spin this into something it's not. So let's do a little logic here. Military presence drives diplomatic leverage. This is a president that understands leverage. And I would say that is probably geopolitics 101. Tehran doesn't just want to talk. They want terms. Why else would they call? And they want terms that won't leave their little regime weaker than what it is. How could we possibly give that to them? I mean, the U.S. position is straightforward. Iran would have to remove enriched uranium. It would have to cap its long-range missile stockpile and change its support for regional proxy forces as part of any serious deal. I wouldn't call those trivial concessions, not from these guys. And Iranian leaders have not even agreed to that. Let's just be very crystal clear. So what's Trump doing here, you know? Well, he's broadcasting a whole bunch of strength. And that region knows and respects strength. But he's doing so while keeping a diplomatic door open. And that is quite the balance. And it's also quite the classic competitive negotiation type stuff you would expect. You know, Americans should like that posture, whether you're liberal or conservative. You know, you don't bow down, you don't grovel. And you don't negotiate from weakness. No one negotiating wants to negotiate from a position of weakness. So you put credible capability right in place and right in your face. All right, guys, that is all we have today. Man, I am so grateful for you guys. Thank y'all so much for making the show better than I could ever make it. Be careful.